welcome to the shed. In today's video we're looking on the opposite side to what you normally see, because today I wanted to do a tool highlight video. I've done some post highlighting various tools that I've got and they did very well, and a lot of people wanted to see a video on this little beauty here, which is a hand crank drill press. And so I thought I'd start doing some videos highlighting some of these tools and showing you how they work and little things about them, a little bit of history, that sort of thing. So this is going to be a new segment that I'm probably going to call tool highlights or something like that. It's not some fancy thing like Tool Tuesday or anything like that. It's just highlighting the tools that I think you'd find very interesting, and various ways to how they work and maybe a bit of the history. So let me know if you'd like to see another one such as this. But today I wanted to show you this hand crank drill press. I want to show you how it works because it's quite difficult to explain from photos how this little beauty works. You can see here that as I turn around, this turns, and that's what makes this a self-advancing hand crank drill press. So this one is the Silver Manufacturing Company, Salem, Idaho, USA, number 21. Now generally these sort of drill presses were used as blacksmithing drill presses and the slow rotation, but because you can adjust how slow and fast this one advances, you've seen me use it in at least one video to drill some holes, and it does work fairly well for woodworking as well, and it's a good option that if you can get a hold of one, to use one of these instead of an electric drill press. And they're a joy to use, even if a little rattly. So let's bring you in here closer and I'll talk you through exactly how it works. So I'm going to do my very best. I'll start with this side. I just wanted to show you the parts, and I did take this apart and restore it all. That's why it's all painted up and looks nice, and so I have some idea about how it works. So what we've got going on here is this is a flywheel that keeps the speed of the wheel when you're spinning it by hand, so it's actually easier. We have this wheel on top, which if we spin this, we can see there's a threaded piece here, and what that does is move the whole lot up and down. And here is the main drive shaft. It runs right through down into the original chuck here, and we'll talk about why I've added this one a little bit later. In here, I believe it is, there is a flat area with a groove of ball bearings, and so when this this piece here, as you can see, rotates, and so it doesn't actually rotate up here, and so you can still advance it while the shaft is spinning. And you can see here how that works. This is the arm that makes the entire advancing mechanism work. We can see there's a wheel here with a series of indents, and this claw actually fits down and it runs across it, and then it'll actually advance it, and so it can move around and then advance it again, move around, and you see it just locks in. And so when I turn this arm, you see it moves across, moves back, locks in, moves across, and you can actually adjust how much this moves in and out. There's a little spring here that pushes it back across. You've got this little stop here, and I'll show you on this side, but there's actually a screw that I'm turning, and you can see that that's adjusting how far it moves, and so the adjustment of how far it moves means that it advances more or less. But this is seriously only advancing it by rocking back and forwards. It's bolted in right here, so it's pivoting off this, and I'll show you down in here how it works right now. So if we look in here, there's this wavy piece. Now, this spins around, and I'll show you how this arm actually operates it in a second, but it's just one cog that feeds into this cog. And we can see this piece here. It disappears to nothing, and then it widens out, which I've referred to in the post as a wavy piece of metal. And so you see it gets larger and then tapers back off really quickly. And it's hard to show you, but in the back here, there is a little, just down in here on this arm, the tail of the arm comes right down in here, and it rests up against this. With this spring pushing this back across, it pushes the bottom up against this, which rests on this wavy piece, and that's what pushes it in and out as it spins. You can see it moves in and out. So if I actually turn this all the way out, it's going to move almost nothing when I spin it, because it has practically no movement in it. And in actual fact, currently it's not moving at all. So we release that off a little bit and it'll actually move a tiny bit. And so we can see it's just rocking ever so slightly and only moving one tooth at a time. And so you can actually adjust how far this moves back and forwards based on the adjustment of the screw here, and that'll adjust how many teeth it skips. So at most on this wheel, I think it moves like 3 or 4 teeth, and you can actually bring it right down so it actually does 3, 2, or 1, or nothing at all. But if you're going to do nothing at all, you just wind that off and lift that little claw off, and then it can move as much as it likes and it won't actually advance this. And so you can actually manually advance this if you wish, which is what I tend to do when I'm using it in wood, just because it moves a little bit faster and it's a little bit easier. So the way this works is we have our arm here that we spin. It turns this piece here, which turns what's attached to the cog here, which then binds onto this cog, comes down into this cog, and as we can see, it rotates it in either direction. Now, because this is direct drive, you end up actually using this in the reverse direction to make your chuck go or spin in a clockwise direction to make your drill bits actually operate the way they'd normally operate. If you went this way, it's going to put it in reverse and not work. And so because of the direct drive operation of this, like this, you have to actually spin it in what seems like a wrong direction, but it's actually just underarm. So you're actually turning this in an anti-clockwise direction so that all of these spin the way you want. So anti-clockwise makes this one turn clockwise, which then makes this one turn anti-clockwise, which clockwise, and then it comes into this spinning clockwise as well, which then turns our chuck in a clockwise direction for all our spin bits to work. So now I just want to focus in a little bit on the chuck. So the original chuck is this one here, which has a 1/2 inch hole in the bottom, and it was designed for 1/2 inch shanked drill bits. Now, I eventually found this chuck here, which is a normal 4-jaw chuck, or 3-jaw, I think this one actually is. Keyed one. So I've got the key here for it. And that allows me to use, obviously, varying sizes of modern drill bits in here that don't all have a 1/2 inch shank. And so this was not the easiest to come across. I had to get a 1/2 inch straight mandrel for a drill chuck, and that is extremely difficult to actually find these here in Australia. And so eventually I came across one that wasn't too expensive. I did find some, and they were hugely expensive, so I didn't want to go that route. And so I eventually found this particular one from, I don't know, AIM Industries or something like that. If any of you are interested, I will try and find where I got it from for you and leave that link down below if anyone would like that. And that's why I have this on here. Now, down a little bit further, this is the adjustment plate. So this comes in. This is the bench of it. It hangs off the post at the back here and can swing out of the way so you can have stuff through here and drill through in that cap there. And this is the very rudimentary base. I've tried making other ones for it to sit on here, and they just don't sit on here well. And the one other thing that I forgot to mention is this is the screw that adjusts how far that arm can move. It's just a little basic butterfly headed screw, which allows you to adjust it. But now we know how this operates. I'm going to turn it here. And we're going to watch this spin here. Watch that arm come back. It's pushing the wheel's turning. And the main drive here is driving this shaft here, while this independent piece up here spins and turns, pushes the shaft forwards and advances our drill. And if we want to quickly adjust it, we can undo that. We can spin it back up to the top, which is what you would have to do anyway, and you can manually control how fast it advances here while still spinning this piece here. that is basically what's going on here. There is one other piece here. This has a little piece of metal coming off the thread, and that's to actually keep it straight, moving up and down to the main body. So I just wanted to go into a little bit of history that I could find on this one. This tool was very thin on research that I could find about it. I found a catalogue from 1911 from the Silver Manufacturing Company, which had this number 21 in there. So I know that they were manufacturing them still in 1911, but I can't tell you when my particular one was built. There's no defining markers on the tool and no research out there that I could find that you know, elaborated to the actual date or any other history of this. Obviously it's come from Salem in the USA, so it's come a long way to be here in my workshop here in Western Australia. But I can't tell you that journey. It would be great to know, but I just know that I have a piece of woodworking or even metalworking history here. Just like a lot of my tools, I love the history of these tools, which is partially why I collect them, but I also like to get these really old tools that are way over 100 years old and restore them and continue to operate and use them, which just is a legacy, I believe, of these companies and the way they made these tools that just don't exist anymore. So if you know anything about these post drills, let me know. I know that this one is actually quite a small one, and they made really giant ones that had giant, like 2 meter wide flywheels that spun around right on top, and multi-speed ones. So this is just a small one, but it's my one and it works well and stays along with the aesthetic of hand tools, and I love being able to use it when possible because it does actually operate dead true and straight, which is what you want in a drill press. So if you'd like to see another video such as this one, do let me know. If you'd like to see some more videos on some of these tools, me talking through the history rather than just posts. I would love to do videos on this, as I am a video creator and I do have a lot of history and tools here that I'd love to share with you in a little bit more explanation than just a few photos. So if you like this video, please do like and subscribe down below, and while you're down there, do sound off in the comments. Let me know if you'd like me to try and do this style of video any different. I know it was a little bit different to what I had, and there's a little bit of constraints filming there as well, so please do keep that in mind. But I hope I was able to get across to you how it operates well enough. I hope I brought that across to you. So until next time, check out these workshop chat videos up here. Bye for now.